But that game between Michigan and TCU was basically the Murphy's Law of football, if you will, in my opinion, for Michigan. Like whatever could have gone wrong went wrong for the Maize and Blue. And it's unfortunate that it happened that way. But at no point in that game did I feel like they came out with the same story. I know that they had talked about it was going to be it's a business trip, and they had been there before and they're very locked in. I didn't feel that. It did not feel the same as it did for Ohio State. I thought the TCU came out, pretty strong, pretty fast, stopping Michigan down inside, the 2-yard line, and Michigan
That's when
running
it
a
felt
Philly special
different.
play was just like, this is, and one of the TCU linebackers had said as much. Like the minute they had to run a trick play at the goal line, we knew we had them. That's kind of how it felt.
Because it's like Michigan, what do you do? You have the best offensive line. You have probably the best
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but still, your bread and butter is what has made this Harbaugh, return to glory the last 2 years. Is just been, we are going to push it down your throat. We are going to run up the middle. Stop us. You're at the 2-yard line.
Couldn't get 2 yards.
Do it.
Couldn't get 2 yards. Just could not. I mean, it was. I hate the play call, the reverse. I didn't like it when it happened. If anything, I'm a big stretch play action naked boot guy. It's tough to do that at that point of the field just because you're running out of space. And I thought that once again the Joe Moore Award. I don't want to win that award ever again. I don't care about that award at all. That award is a curse. I mean, TCU's defense spent their entire afternoon in the backfield of Michigan making sandwiches.
But the first play of the game was a 60-yard run?
54. Yeah.
But yeah,
felt great.
Right.
That was like, oh wow, look at that. And then, oh no, look at this. And then you even forced TCU to punt, right, at their own 18-yard line. So you feel pretty good. You got the ball at your own 34. Okay, all right, let's get this thing back. And then pick six, 1 of 2 happened throughout the course of that game. Bud Clark jumped the route, cut it off, and played it perfectly from a secondary position. I mean, that's what you want your DBs to be able to do. J.J. McCarthy, it's a tough throw to make. That's a pro throw right there. Across the field, far hash on the out route, underthrew it. Just flat out underthrew it. And a point, you can't do that. Like at that, when you're making that throw, you can't throw that football. If you're gonna miss, you gotta miss. You gotta miss deep. Miss that thing into the sidelines. TCU got that pick six. That felt bad. Michigan was forced to punt on their next possession. TCU came down the field, looking like the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech, and just, put together a service academy drive, 12 plays, 76 yards in 5 minutes, and it was like, this is bad. That's when it was like, okay, you get an interception, you start to feel good, and then we'll fumble it away after the Roman Wilson called back touchdown to place the ball first down and goal to go at the TCU 1. You try to hand it to your fullback and it's a fumble. It was just anything that could have went wrong for the Wolverines. They did not play a good football game. That is what makes football very, very unique in their tournament setup. Very much like the NCAA tournament. You don't have to be the best team all season. You just got to be good for 40 minutes at a time, or for our sake here in football, for 4 quarters at a time. I don't think that TCU is necessarily the better team, but they had a much, much better day than the Michigan Wolverines did. And if you are a Michigan fan, I thought about this as there was some disappointment. Went to a gathering to watch the football game, a lot of screaming at the television, a lot of hooting and hollering. It's typically why I don't go anywhere, and I'd rather just watch it by myself in the comfort of my own home. But you look at where this team is at now in comparison to where they were at in 2016, 2017, 2008, 2013. Pick any year you want between the end of the Lloyd Carr era with that final Rose Bowl, that '07 Rose Bowl against USC, to where they are at today. Throw a dart at the wall and pick any year. The Rich Rod years, the Brady Hoke years, whatever you would like. If this is the new floor, which was once a ceiling, then I'm okay with that. And with the expanded playoff, it's going to make it a little bit more feasible for more teams like Michigan, like TCU, like Ohio State, to be able to get into the college football playoff. It will also open the door for more teams like Alabama, right? For teams like that to be able to etch their name in. And if if USC would have taken care of business, right, there'll be more opportunities for more teams because the playoff is going to have 12 teams, your 6 highest ranked conference champions, and then 6 at large. So you're going to see it be a little bit easier to make the college football playoff. But if this is the new standard, then I think this is good. Now, to make it there last year and to get beat the way that you did, it was like, okay, we made it. That was a lot of fun. What a trip. Let's get back. Okay, now you've done it twice, and this game, you played about as bad as you could. You lost by 6 points, and you played miserably. You have 2 pick sixes out there. Your offensive line is just complete paper mache. TCU, don't want to take anything away from him. You have 2 interceptions. You return them both for touchdowns, like opportunistic in every sense of the word. But I didn't think that, even when the Wolverines were down 21-6 at halftime, I never felt like the Wolverines, like it always felt like it was just a 0-0 tie ball game. It was like everything kept happening in favor of TCU, and it's like, all right, that's okay. We're still right here. Just turn it on.
Yeah,
flip the switch.
Yeah, see,
when's this going to happen?
There's a difference when it's like when things are happening in the other team's favor versus when you're allowing those things to happen. Like when you're handing the ball to them, that's not good.
It's not good. It's very bad, in fact. Less than ideal, so they say.
Like you can get a bad bounce when you're just making bad throws, even like a tip, that's
tip
when you make 2 bad throws and they're both returned, that's going to do you in right there.
Can't do that. Played miserably for 343 yards, 2 scores, and 2 pick sixes. That is a brutal. You have to be able to win the turnover battle. You have to be able to do that. And
this is the one thing I'll say, and I've heard Michigan fans say this throughout the weekend. It's like, well, I felt we were the better team. I feel like everyone that TCU has beat has come away from their game saying the same thing.
They're a gritty bunch.
They're gritty. They love chaos. They ensue it. They're the better team. They showed it. Look at the score.
Right, yeah, like they had a better game. I don't know if they're the better team.
They are. They beat you.
Okay, so I understand that that viewpoint, but I think that when you...
Well, I'm saying, I think it's not just Michigan fans that are, doing this to TCU of, when they came away with a loss to TCU, because TCU doesn't sit there and won't dominate you 50-0. They play dirty, gross, chaotic games. And guess what? They've come out on top versus every opponent that's been on their schedule.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you could say the same thing for Kansas State, right? I mean, is Kansas State a better football team at 10-3 than TCU because they beat them heads up? No, they were
1-1 against each other, though.
Better for one day. But are they a better football team? I don't know. I mean, I do know.
We just saw it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would personally disagree. I would think that Michigan is a better team. I just think that TCU had a much better day. If you don't fumble inside the 1 yard line, if you don't throw not 1 but 2 pick sixes, that ain't even a game. But everything that could have went wrong, and Michigan finds itself college football playoff 2 years in a row, leaving after the semifinals empty-handed, kind of looking around, going, all right, well, now what do we do?